Hello and welcome to The Corridor here on CFRC 101.9 FM in Kingston, Ontario, and podcasting on Spotify and Apple Music. I'm Dinah Jansen, and with me is CFRC Local Journalism Initiative news producer Jessie Bell. This regional news program features news from Kingston and area provided by local and regional journalists through the support of the Local Journalism Initiative and the Community Radio Fund of Canada. Welcome and enjoy. Hello and welcome to The Corridor, brought to you by Realtor Kim Purcell of Sutton Group Masters Realty. Connect with Kim today to find a new home tomorrow via kimpurcell.ca. I'm Dinah Jansen, and with me is CFRC's Local Journalism Initiative producer Jessie Bell and Arts Coordinator Genevieve Hinch. Our top story is from CFRC's Local Journalism Initiative reporter Erin McCauley, covering the opening of 33 new transitional housing units in Kingston.
Following up on a story CFRC reported on in May, the City of Kingston has announced that it is nearly ready to open 33 new transitional housing units at 315 Queen Mary Road. The former extended care building was purchased by the city in 2024 and is now in the final stages of renovation and construction. The space will operate under a shared care model with 3 pillars, including a primary health care clinic operated by Kingston Community Health Centres, KCHC, a transitional supportive housing program operated by Home Base Housing HBH, and a community use/programming space operated by Lionhearts Kingston. Once construction is completed in mid-August, Home Base Housing expects to open the 33 transitional housing units for individuals aged 55 plus with varying levels of healthcare needs. CFRC spoke with Jane Hartley, Director of Housing and Social Services for the City of Kingston, about the update.
And I wonder if you could talk about what it means to be providing those spaces within the city and how it fits into the city's framework regarding housing and homelessness initiatives.
Thank you for the question, and happy to be here to speak to these things. It is an exciting time. So home-based housing will be welcoming guests into the site, probably starting in mid-August. So we're almost completed construction now and getting all the fit up and those things done. Home-based housing is an excellent organization to be supporting these efforts. They've been in existence in the city of Kingston since 1987, so many, many years. They support a large range of supportive housing, transitional, emergency shelter, and the demographics, right from youth up to this site, which will be 55 plus, for individuals with mobility challenges. In terms of it fitting into the mandate, I'm really proud to have this site opening as a shared care model. This is really the first in Kingston, and I would say there is not a lot where you have the co-location of a shared care facility like this, which has transitional housing and has primary health clinic located as well, and then community space. And also with the report that went earlier this month to talk about the health and wellness center that will be located in addition to community space.
On July 7, 2026, City Council approved the incorporation of a new wellness/health center, including a small therapy pool within the community space. Construction of the wellness center was originally considered as part of the city's partnership with the YMCA at the Invista Center, but staff recommended a change in that project scope following further review and consultation with a healthcare consultant. The Wellness Health Center is intended to focus on respiratory rehabilitation, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, and hydrotherapy, amongst a number of services, and staff believes that the relocation to 315 Queen Mary Road will create, quote, synergies with other healthcare services within the property.
It's a really wonderful opportunity. Individuals that will be welcomed in are on their journey through the housing continuum. Some, depending on their life situation, will have a number of needs. And this is a 24/7 site that will have support, including PSW support, just life skills, housing search, addictions and mental health support if needed. So every individual will have a different case plan developed for them and help them to determine what's the best course of action for them and with them. There could be individuals that are looking to transition. It could be to long-term care, could be to independent housing. The beauty here is those individuals that do not have access to a primary health care physician will be rostered by Midtown Health, which is wonderful. And just that opportunity for things that we don't even know that might be possible there. So this site, I would argue, is supporting a number of those things that we recognize as needed to help people thrive, move forward, and support them along that journey.
Not only is it removing barriers to care, but it's a very proactive approach. And reading some of the documentation before, the fact that even as people transition out of the space, there will be continued social support and health support.
And that's a big piece as well, because once somebody transitions and moves, that's important because it's that community and that connection that you want to ensure people feel that they know where to go if they're having a challenge or have questions. That needs to be there. That really is a part of the success and our overarching system-wide responsibility as a service manager. It really is around from the emergency homelessness response right through to market. And within that, there's a lot of intersections where it's supporting people that are precariously housed. So there's so many pieces that the city and where we're trying to find opportunities to support individuals. The best, is if somebody's already housed to help them remain housed. But inevitably things happen in people's lives. And this is where Queen Mary Road can support an individual that has specific needs. I'm really excited. Our team, we're really happy to be working with Home-Based Housing, Midtown Health, and we'll be starting our community liaison committee up. So there's a lot of positive, great things happening and really excited to see this added to the opportunities that we're trying to present to individuals that need it across the city and across all the different situations and things that people require and need.
Provincial and federal funding can sometimes be challenging and changes can come very suddenly. It is nice to see something that is stable and that will be a sustained way of supporting people. You've referenced demographics. Where did the 55 plus age demographic decision come from? Was that the city? Was that home-based housing? Was it just identifying a need within the community?
Yeah, mostly from identifying a need and a continuing need. And also understanding that this demographic, 55 plus, have unique needs and that we're seeing they were being supported, but looking at that there needed to be a site that could holistically incorporate supports for these individuals from kind of a broad range, from people that recently have been experiencing homelessness to ones that have been in shelter right now or precariously housed, couch surfing. Those aren't ideal situations. So when we look back at the time when this concept was being planned was what was our by name list looking like, doing our housing needs assessments, and what was the type of housing that was needed, what was the demographic that would benefit and would need this type of support. And 55 plus was targeted, there was a gap. And also population is aging. We're seeing that. So the population of Kingston. So when you mention proactive, it really is trying to see, we have shelters that are supporting women. We now have supportive housing sites, Indigenous understanding. So it really was identifying there was a need and we're stepping up and really interested in supporting that need and coming together with the shared care model with Midtown Health. It just was a perfect recipe, I think, to help people.
The Midtown Kingston Health Home, which had been operating out of a temporary location at 791 Princess Street following the initial delay, relocated to 315 Queen Mary Road in June.
I know it hasn't opened yet, but are there hopes that this could be the start of applying this model elsewhere in the city in future or expanding it in future?
I think really anything is possible. Right now, we are in the midst of developing our 10-year housing and homelessness plan. And part of that is looking at, like we talked about, what the housing needs are. Housing need assessments being done. We have gone out and done extensive community engagement to hear from the residents of the city and the county to hear what is the needs, where are their gaps, and then also backing that up with data that we have through our by name list, our centralized wait list, through census information. And this could be, once this is up and running and seeing the success, do we replicate it? Do we replicate a model that might be similar, but another specific demographic? As a service manager, it's our role to determine what is the need. And then our goal is always looking to support that need, working with the partners that we value. We can't do it alone, and it's those partners that support the work. And I think just touching on your comment about funding to support both the emergency homelessness response and all types supportive housing transitional demonstrated to be successful in the path forward to help people to move along the continuum. It's expensive, and funding that we have received, while we're grateful to the province for that funding, we have not seen an increase in our provincial funding in, this is, I believe, 3 years. So the municipal contribution, taxpayer dollars, does increase. So we want to ensure that funds are being directed to where there's the most impact. That's a huge part of our role as well.
The city's next official plan has been postponed to June 2027. Do you think that the postponement will allow you to gather more data on this site and perhaps incorporate it into that plan?
I'm not sure. I think that would be something we would talk to those that are in the area working on the official plan. I think any and all information, if it's deferred, there is an opportunity always to see, okay, what additional data can we look for? In terms of timing, we're opening now. So as a city, we're always working with our partners to monitor, track how things are going, outcome focused, what the outcomes are for individuals that do move on. So it really will depend, I think, on what we see over the next 6 months, and just understanding as well, these are individuals. Every individual is different. Every individual's journey is different. So whereas some people may move on a quicker pace, others may need additional support. So it's really helping people that are there with that case plan. They will have a case manager with 24/7 support.
As part of the development of the site, the city is currently accepting applications for a community liaison committee until August 9th, 2026. The committee will ensure continued connection and dialogue between partner agencies and the surrounding community.
Before we go, you did reference that there is a community liaison committee. The deadline for that application is August 9th. Who are you looking for, and what might people do on that committee?
If you're not aware, we do have that model running now for our Sydenham Road shelter. We did establish a community liaison committee last fall, and the shelter opened in February of this year. It's been really beneficial. It's been an opportunity for the community to hear from the operator, hear about any issues, talk about challenges that might be arising. In terms of the makeup, it really is that opportunity to bring community members, business members that are in the community, the operator, the city, our district councillors, Cataraqui Conservation, Midtown Health, as well as a seat for whoever is the health and wellness operator. And also Lionhearts. That's the only one I haven't talked about, because Lionhearts is a big part. They will be opening vocational laundry on the site.
A vocational laundry program overseen by Lionhearts is set to begin operations in October 2026, providing participants with practical job skills training. An additional community use and programming space is expected to open in early 2027.
Getting ahead, when you talked about proactive, it's saying, understanding, here's how the model works, answering any questions that people may have. We would have that minutes, all the information posted on Get Involved Kingston. And it's that liaison between the program that's operating and the community and the businesses. So if they have questions, they can be posed to the community liaison committee. Information's then available that might not be known on Get Involved Kingston. Because sometimes things come organically, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is the meetings we've been having monthly for Sydenham Road have been very productive in terms of connecting the shelter operator, in that case, with the individuals that are part of the community liaison committee, and learning about what is available from the city, who can I contact. But it's also a chance, there's any challenge, any issue, anything going on, that's where, the operator can say, okay, help me understand that, and explain maybe what's happening. Any misinformation, it can be put forward, addressed, posted on the Get Involved Kingston. It's transparent, reliable information, real time. We see this committee helping to foster communication. So we just want to make sure all the parties that are involved in the shared model are there to answer questions, help support residents, community members, businesses with questions they may have, issues they may have, and support them ongoing as this moves forward.
And as you say, this is new for everyone. And so always wonderful to have an opportunity for people to ask questions, to learn more, and to, as you say, disseminate that information.
For some people, transitional, it's not known. It's not something that they're familiar with. So it's an opportunity to really help people understand that these are the individuals that are being supported there. These are people that are looking to move forward, and this is how we're supporting them to get there. And I think that's a really important part because it just helps to put out information so that people know, and any unknowns or things that you might not have asked, that we're able to put it online, make it available to all.
Thank you very much for your time today, and really looking forward to seeing this open. And as the site gets up to full speed, as you say, with Lionhearts and with the community space, I think it's a really exciting initiative and one that I think people will be very interested in. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Happy to be here and look forward to reporting back and saying all the success and excitement that we see happening there.
Individuals interested in applying for the Community Liaison Committee can find out more by visiting the Get Involved Kingston page at getinvolved.cityofkingston.ca/queen-mary-road-transitional-housing.
Thank you to Era Macaulay for that story. Coming up next, we have Dinah Jansen reading a story from the local journalism initiative reporter for the Napanee Beaver, Sarah Williams, about a trio of events planned to celebrate Enterprise's centennial anniversary.
Thank you, Jesse. Enterprise Community Hall is celebrating its 100th anniversary this year, and true to its name, the community is invited to celebrate. Built in 1926, the hall has been the backdrop for generations' worth of memories in Enterprise, and now the community is marking this hall's centennial with several commemorative events. The first event is slated for Saturday, September 12th, and includes a classic motorcycle show on Prince Street and barbecue dogs and burgers by PJ's Family Barbecue. This will take place from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Sunday, September 13th, will be the Firefighters Mundell Fish Fry. The event is sponsored by the Enterprise Station No. 2 Firefighters Association and will take place from 5 to 7 p.m. Last but not least is the rededication of the Enterprise Community Hall planned for Sunday, November 21st from 2 to 4 p.m. This event will feature a ribbon cutting with past and present council members and other dignitaries present. Both MPP Rick Brzee and MP Shelby Cramp Newman will speak at this event. Rob Fenwick, son of Don Fenwick, a major supporter of the hall, took some time to speak about what makes this place so special for the people of Enterprise. Reflecting on the past 100 years of the hall, Fenwick noted it's been a place for people to laugh, cry, relax, and celebrate. Fenwick also noted that unlike other community halls that are multi-purpose or perhaps have been repurposed, the one in Enterprise was built specifically for community gatherings. The future, according to Fenwick, will be just as full of memories as the past. The hall is like a heritage building you have the pleasure of renting. The public gets to make a piece of our history a part of their history, said Fenwick.
Thank you to Dinah Jansen and Sarah Williams for that story. Coming up next, we have a story from the local journalism initiative reporter for CJAI Amherst Island Radio, Ted Evans, about the impending renovation of Napanee Town Hall.
Hi, I'm Ted Evans, local journalism initiative reporter and news director at CJAI, Amherst Island Radio, 101.3 FM in Stella, Ontario. Coming up are some of the top news stories from Loyalist Township. You can hear Amherst Island Radio's news program, North Shore News, on 101.3 Amherst Island Radio or online at cjai.ca. For showtimes throughout the week, check the schedule on our website at cjai.ca. A new design for the main level of Napanee Town Hall has been approved by Council, and staff will now move forward with the renovation. The new design would include moving the lease space for the Chamber of Commerce to the front of the building. This space would then be used for storage. Staff would be looking to then move washrooms to the back of the building. The new washrooms would include a barrier-free, fully accessible washroom and 2 standard washrooms. Staff's next report to Council will include full construction drawings, as well as a breakdown of costs for the interior renovation. Further design work will continue beyond that, as well as stakeholder consultation with the Chamber of Commerce, Rotary Club of Napanee, and relevant advisory committees. The design includes a durable vinyl plank flooring chosen for its ease of care and to reflect the plank floors that buildings of the same age were originally constructed with. Mayor Terry Richardson spoke about the renovation.
It's placing the Chamber of Commerce in the front of the building, which has many, many options. The back of the building where they were going to be is a part of the facility that I think would be better suited, to be quite honest with you, for storage. It's a part of the facility that was never abated, and I think it'd be more appropriate if we use that for storage. And then there's a number of different advantages, especially with the bathrooms in the back, because originally when the bathrooms were put in this building, that's where they were. So I'm almost thinking that there's probably still holes in plumbing in the floor that would assist us in doing that.
CAO Matthew Grant noted the committees that worked on the project and spoke about some of the new features of the design.
That work has been undertaken with the Market Square Advisory Committee and as well as the Director of Parks, Recreation and Culture. Been a number of meetings and discussions, and there's also been input received from the Arts Committee and as well from the Heritage Committee. So in essence, they've talked about, clearing out the inside, ensuring that there is infrastructure to hang arts material, putting in a coffee bar.
Staff provided council with various options for where washrooms would be located, as well as the location of the Chamber of Commerce offices. Grant spoke about the option council chose.
The committees themselves didn't have the ability to consider this fully, given that where the Chamber of Commerce is located was considered off limits in the planning exercise. I think having the chamber in the front solves their accessibility problems. And people aren't going through the event space to get to their office.
Councillor Angela Hicks noted some of the reasoning behind council's decision.
I think it's a better use of the space. I have never liked the idea of the bathrooms at the front of the building because we lose the natural light coming through 2, if not 3. Well, it would have been all 3 of those windows in the front. It also gives us the option for a closet. So the occupancy limit is 149 people. We didn't consider where they'd all be hanging their coats in January.
Richardson spoke about the future of the facility.
I had some different ideas as well, but they've convinced me that this type of floor plan is the way we should go. So I, for one, am going to be very excited to start to see some of the progress that we're going to see downstairs, because I think it's going to be an absolutely marvelous and fabulous facility for our community.
For Amherst Island Radio and the Local Journalism Initiative, I'm Ted Evans.
Thank you to Ted Evans for that story. Coming up next is your CFRC Power Plays Sports Report. This is part 4 of our OUA football season preview, brought to you by CFRC Power Plays. Today we are looking at the 2025 Carleton Ravens, one of the most bizarre, exciting, and infuriating seasons in recent memory. The 2025 Ravens were consistent with one thing, and that was being inconsistent. They didn't know who would start at quarterback from week to week. Heck, they didn't know who would be at quarterback from drive to drive sometimes. Their defense would show flashes of something great one moment and totally implode in the next. They lost games they should have won, Toronto and McMaster, and won games they should have lost, York and Ottawa. The Ravens ended up with a very respectable 3-5 record, but missed the playoffs by 2 points, falling short to McMaster in Week 9, 41-39. We at least got some closure about the quarterback situation by the end of the year, as Elijah Barnes emerged as a legitimate starting caliber player with a very fun skill set. Let's take a look at their 2025 stats. They were 5th in points for on offense with 215. It's about 27 points per game. They were 6th in yards per game with 432, giving them about 3,312 yards. They were 2nd in total passing yards with 2666, which is about 333 pass yards per game. They were 11th, so last place in total rushing yards with 789, only team to average under 100 per game. They loved to throw the football, which is good because they had to. Their defense was 10th in points allowed, giving up 320. That's 40 points per game. They were last in passing yards allowed per game with 365.6. They were 10th in rushing yards allowed per game with 185.1. Putting them in last place for total yards allowed per game with an astonishing 550.8. Their defense did not look good for most of the season, but they were great when it mattered most for them, which was the Panda Bowl. Their point differential, minus 105, that's 8th in the conference, which makes sense because that's where they finished. Over the last 5 seasons, their record has been, say it with me, inconsistent. 2-4 in 2021, 5-3 in 2022, 4-4 in 2023, 2-6 in 2024, and 3-5 in 2025. So all over the map here. In 2026, I've got them kind of right towards the middle. I am a little concerned. They have lost a lot of their key guys from the post-COVID era. Wide receiver Tristan Reddy, great player. He's in the CFL. Kicker Brandon Forcier is gone. I think he had a fantastic career for Carleton. They've lost Nathan Clark, their defensive lineman. They've lost linebacker Mikhail Alleg. And it looks like longtime quarterback Tristan Lefebvre is gone, or at very least, no longer the man under center for the Ravens. That being said, there is still some potency left in this passing attack with the great dual-threat quarterback Elijah Barnes, ready, I think, to take that next step, and star wide receiver Frederick Hashie, back for his 5th and final year. I think Carleton has a pretty middling schedule. Not too bad, not too easy. They've got York on the road in Week 1, Waterloo at home in Week 2, they play the Griffins in Guelph before hosting the Yates Cup champs, Queens Gales, for the first time since 2021. The Panda Bowl is in Week 5, so they're playing Ottawa. Then they have 2 killer games against Western and Laurier before finishing out with the Blues at home. Looking at this schedule, I've got the Ravens going 4-4 with victories over York, Waterloo, Ottawa, and Toronto. I think those other 4 games are pretty scary for the Ravens, but if they can at least look competitive in these contests, it'll go a long way towards building momentum for a potential playoff run. I think 4 wins is this team's ceiling and 2 is their floor. I think they'll finish in the middle to lower middle half of the OUA.
And thank you to both Genevieve Hinch and Keith Dempsey for that story. Now over to Jesse Bell with the Kingston Sports Report, brought to you by CFRC Power Plays.
This is your Environment Canada weather report for the Kingston region. Tuesday, August 11th. 24 is your high, feeling closer to 28. Quite humid and a UV index of 8 with a 55% chance of rain, but just a quick shower right around 1 millimeter or so. Wednesday, August 12th. 24 is your high with a 49% chance of precipitation, mix of sun and cloud, feeling closer to 27. Thursday, August 13th, 24 is your high with a 71% chance of precipitation, about 1.5 millimeters all told. Friday, August 14th, 24 degrees is your high, mix of sun and cloud, otherwise a beautiful day here in the city of Kingston. And then kicking off the weekend, Saturday, August 15th, 22 is your high, feeling closer to 25, but quite a cloudy day here in the city of Kingston, UV index of 6. Sunday, August 16th, 23 is your high with a chance of precipitation throughout the day, mostly in the mid-morning, about 2.5 millimeters of rain altogether. Monday, August 17th, 23 is your high, feeling closer to 24, clouds with periods of sunshine, otherwise a beautiful day. Coming up next, we have Genevieve Hinch with CFRC's concert and events calendar.
Hello, Kingston, and welcome back to CFRC 101.9 FM. Broadcasting from Kingston, Ontario, I'm CFRC's Community News and Arts Coordinator, Jenny, and this is your weekly events and concerts calendar brought to you by Flying V Productions. Whether you're looking for live music, community events, markets, workshops, or something fun to do around the city, there is lots happening this week, so let's get into it. On Tuesday, get moving with Chair Fitness and check out the ASL workshop, catch Nuts at the Tet Center, or dance the evening away at Salsa in the Square. Live music includes the Cataraqui Chamber Music Festival, Tom Savage at the RCHA Club, Brian Bryn and Gary Finn at the Cove Inn, and Ricky Brandt's open mic at Musiki. Wednesday features games in the Square, Swinging Summer at the City Hall Amphitheater, trivia, karaoke, euchre, Eunice Versus' third solo drag show. Live music includes Taryn McKenna, Vince DeBeal, Sean McCullen, Quentin Coutry, Christopher Jackson, Wayne Riley's open mic, and lots more happening Wednesday. On Thursday, browse the Kingston Public Market, bring the kids to Stories in the Square, get creative with Bring Your Own Craft or the Felt Mushroom Craft, or catch the Peanuts movie in Springer Market Square. There's also Queen's Family Night, trivia, and drag bingo. Live music includes Grevin and Allie McCormick, Bentley McKegney, J.S. Miller, the Luke Vassar Trio, Jeff Dunn, and the Friendly Frogs Freak Show with the Ratskin Family Band. Friday includes Spanish conversation sessions, a scrapbook and cards class at the Tet Center, Kicking It Country, and karaoke. Music highlights include the Smoking Roosters, Mellow Lily, Deadroot Revival, and the Cataraqui Chamber Music Festival. Heading into Saturday, check out the Kingston Public Market, Farm Fair, the Mini Market Series, chef demos, the Ironwood Fantasy Fair, Saturday Session, or Refuel at Cultivate Art Commons. Live music includes the Oscar Evans Bands, Music Westport, Three's Company, John McClurg, River Cats, Squid Pistol, Thomas Draper and Jessica Wallowich, Sweet Cheetah, Powderfinger, The Oreos, and Jake Toes. Wrapping things up Sunday, head to the Memorial Center Farmers Market, yoga in Battery Park, jazz brunch at Black Dog, or the summer BBQ and bocce at the Italio-Canadian Club. Music includes the Back to the Farm Beer and Music Festival, Head Over Heels, Chantel Thompson, Wayne Riley, and live band karaoke with the Oreos. That is your weekly events and concerts calendar for August 10th through the 16th. For more information on any of these events, visit the CFRC website and keep it locked right here on CFRC 101.9 FM. This events calendar is brought to you by Flying Bee Productions, bringing live theater, comedy, and unforgettable entertainment to audiences all across Kingston. I'm Jenny. Thanks for listening and have a great week, Kingston.
And that's a wrap for this week's edition of The Corridor, supported by the Local Journalism Initiative and the Community Radio Fund of Canada. Don't forget to visit CFRC.ca for the latest in local and regional news headlines, concert and events listings, and more. You can also follow CFRC on Facebook and Instagram at CFRC Music and on Twitter X at CFRC. You can support CFRC and its independent news programming by donating via CFRC.ca. We'll be back next week with more in local and regional news. Thank you for joining us.
When it comes to Kingston real estate, local experience matters. Kim Purcell is an award-winning realtor born and raised in Kingston with over a decade of experience and 100 five-star reviews. If you want honest advice and results you can trust, choose Kim. Visit kimpurcell.ca today for more information.